murder his brother to possess his brother's land.
We get it. Humanity sucks. And I'm not saying we don't, but most of us come to the movies to forget that depressing fact. I don't like spending the first 3+ minutes of this movie watching highlights from the final 10 minutes of the previous movie. It honestly feels very beneath the Planet of the Apes, if you ask me.
All my life I've awaited your coming and dreaded it.
Hey, that's what my college girlfriend said when we... Wait, did I make that joke at the end of the Sins video for Planet? Damn it, been 6 years. I knew I should have opened this video with a highlight reel.
A planet where apes evolved from men? There's got to be an answer.
There does not. And while this franchise will eventually provide some answers to your question, Taylor, those answers will vary from movie to movie and will eventually be completely ignored just before a monopolizing mouse buys a dying fox.
Damn you all to hell!
The Planet of the Apes movie franchise is barely 2 years old, and it can already be sinned for playing the hits. 3.5 minutes of credits against a backdrop of Heston and Hamilton riding in a desert, and no, not the type of riding you're hoping for, you damn dirty apes. Ted Post would direct the second Dirty Harry film, Magnum Force, 3 years after this, not to mention work on the television series Beyond Westworld. Hollywood was like, we don't want Post for the first film in a franchise, but when we need to continue the franchise and spend less money, Post is our man. James Franciscus looks so much like discount Charlton Heston, it would have made way more sense to just recast Colonel Taylor with Franciscus than having a second spaceship sent to look for Taylor and crew captained by a discount Charlton Heston. I guess Ansel really had a type.
Well, we were following Taylor's trajectory, so whatever happened to us must have happened to him.
Only because the laws of physics themselves seem hell-bent on instigating these movies instead of following any actual rules.
Where are we? I don't know what planet we're on.
That is now a grand total of 5 astronauts who refuse to even consider the fact that an Earth-like planet with an Earth-like atmosphere and an Earth-like sun might just be fucking Earth. At what point in the 70s did they stop sending the best and brightest into space?
Yeah, we're gonna be all right, Skipper. We're gonna be all right.
They will not.
If it's 3955 AD, oh my God, my wife.
Movie steals the crew realizes they're so far in the future they've missed their spouses and children's lives emotional arc from Interstellar. Also, in the first movie, Taylor was aware that traveling through time was a possibility. So why wasn't this guy prepped? Like, why did he even agree to come on this mission if he didn't want to risk missing a few thousand birthdays?
Taylor!
Let's break down how incredibly unlikely this is. Brent and this guy get sent on a rescue mission to find Taylor, but fall into the same time travel fuckery and manage to crash land not only on the same planet, but on the same piece of fucking desert mere days or possibly hours after Taylor disappears, allowing Nova to stumble upon them. Forgive me if this does not seem likely.
Where is he?
You've already established she can't speak, and you're not even sure she understands you, so what exactly are you hoping for here, Brent, other than to scare the out of her some more?
Why don't we just settle down and found a colony, huh?
Just a reminder that this is a woman who has been unable to give consent and has likely just been latching on to the most successful caveman. A problematic situation that Taylor seems happy to take advantage of because she's beautiful. Taylor throws the full weight of his body into testing this illusion instead of trying something less risky like a rock. It's almost as if Taylor knew how little the actor playing him wanted to be in this movie. Getting behind someone on horseback without their explicit consent, or the horse's consent for that matter.
Taylor, no.
What about your supplies and rations, dude? Why are you leaving them behind when you have no idea what lies ahead? No matter how silly these movies get in the original franchise, I will never not be amazed at the awesome ape makeup work. And they did this shit in 1970.
My God, it's a city of apes.
Oh, so close to a roll credits, but we were looking for a Planet of the Apes, Brent. But go ahead and tell him what he's won, Johnny. I hope it's the Cuisinart. I've always wanted a Cuisinart.
The only good human is a dead human!
Har har, except not actually har har, because either the universe is willing this line into existence across thousands of years into the mouth of a different species, or this gorilla has been reading up on quotes from a 2,000-year-old racist human colonel.
Sarah, stop, you're in danger.
Cornelius is not voiced by Roddy McDowell in this installment.
It is therefore our holy duty to put our feet upon it, to enter it, to put the marks of our guns and our wheels and our flags upon it.
Movie will be loaded with metaphors and allegories covering everything from manifest destiny to the dangers of nuclear war. Unfortunately, subtlety will not be its chosen delivery method. Excitement? I love Zira, and of course she's right about everything, but how is she still alive? Or at the very least, not behind bars with all of her public displays of rebellion. And weren't Zira and Cornelius supposed to be put on trial after Dr. Zaius had the Forbidden Zone's cave blown up in the last film? Guess we're just acting like that never happened.
You're aware of the reports we've been receiving of strange manifestations in the Forbidden Zone?
If there's one thing I can guarantee, it's that this literal example of gorillas in the mist will not be summoning any strange manifestations in my Forbidden Zone. Also, I know we're anachronizing, but what would a creature who is 99% body hair get out of a sauna experience? Aren't they already in great danger of overheating?
What is more more dangerous than famine, Doctor?
The unknown.
Unless the unknown is also going to starve you to death, I'm still leaning toward famine being more dangerous. You might even be able to eat the unknown. Probably tastes like chicken.
The trouble with us intellectuals is that we have responsibilities and no power.
Movie boldly contradicts the holy doctrine of Disciple Ben from the Book of Spider-Man.
I think I'll make a chocolate icing. Do you like chocolate?
We interrupt our high-concept science fiction movie for this random detour into the Great Apish Baking Show. This does not look like any kind of gunshot wound, unless his arm was grazed by a gun firing red food coloring.
You talked.
That's impossible.
You were exposed to a talking human for almost a year. I do not understand this sentence.
And get out of those things that you're wearing as soon as you can.
Considering he's in a house with multiple rooms, couldn't Brent just get out of what he's wearing right now? Zero really does make things more difficult than they need to be.
Thank us by finding Taylor.
Yeah, if he's still alive.
Or willing to take a 37% pay cut. How's the beeping, Nova? How's the beeping? Nova, Nova, Nova. Brent decides to hide his astronaut clothes by bringing them from here to over here and calling it a job well done. The guerrillas either have a ton of these nets and soldiers set up throughout this entire countryside, or got really lucky that Brent and Nova ran this way. Either way, I'm not sure what this net is achieving that the two guerrillas with guns can't achieve on their own. So basically, the movie started off with an astronaut who looks a lot like Charlton Heston, crash landing and realizing he's way in the future. Said astronaut discovers this is a planet filled with human-hunting apes. He then discovers there are a couple of apes named Zira and Cornelius willing to help him, and then is eventually captured along with a female named Nova and put in a cage with a bunch of other humans. In summary, the first 30 minutes of this movie have just been a condensed version of the previous film. Yay! These prisoners are addicted to personal space. This Gorilla Olympics scene goes on for what feels like several hours and doesn't tell us anything we didn't already know about their cruelty and disdain for humans.
This is a type E cranium.
Sure is lucky for Brent and Nova that they were transferred to this prison cell during Zira's shift. If she wasn't there, Brent and Nova become target practice and are most likely killed. But that would have also ended the movie. Damn it, Zira.
Wait! I'd better double lock the door.
Never mind the fact that single locking the door isn't even a thing. Just be grateful I'm here and ask no further questions. Brent is saved not by skill or sheer force of human will, but by a tree branch ex machina. Thankfully, in all of Brent's astronaut training, they took a day out to teach him how to handle a horse-drawn carriage. You never know what challenges space will present. Everybody is horseback riding. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. They were fast as lightning. Also, this movie is 67% horseback riding. Beneath the Planet of the Apes was already predicting the end of payphones. And I know some of you out there are probably asking, what's a payphone? And I'm here to tell you to get off my lawn. Also, it still blows my mind that apes who speak English, horses, and human f***ing beings weren't good enough clues, and that it takes a literal telephone and an entire New York subway station for him to say, oh, this is f***ing Earth, isn't it? Being this aggressive with a wall. Buy a drink first, Brent. Jeez. There are certain points in the movie where all I can think about is these poor actors' feet. These guys are barefoot for the entire damn thing and just stomping on dirt, stone, and no doubt a ton of LSD from these 70s film sets.
My God, did we finally do it?
Can we move this realization along? We've already watched this scene with a man who looks almost identical to this man in the last movie. In fact, we've already experienced said scene in this movie.
That we, your chosen servants, created and born in your divine image.
This Simeon on the Mount scene exists mostly to justify that churches are still a thing in the future. And this scene exists mostly to justify that great Simeon on the Mount pun.
Dr. Sayers trotting along beside them.
Don't be too hard on the old boy, Zira.
Don't be too hard on him. He tried to destroy proof that would have exonerated Cornelius and Zira in the first film and wanted to put them on trial and potentially execute them. They should be hard on Zaius. Extra f***ing hard. Did none of these f***ing people watch the first film? They've got the apes walking in the back with flags, so why are they making this poor ape on horseback carry a flag? You might need that other hand at some point. He's riding a f***ing horse. The apes have somehow invented a magic powder that creates a second skin over wounds, but somehow they're still living in huts in a mostly agricultural society. It's not impossible. I'm just saying it sucks when a movie's budget holds back the ape natural technological advancement.
Why can't we go back to our outfits?
Because the Sarge says to keep looking until we find them.
Brent pops up at the perfect time to overhear these gorillas talking, so he knows to get out of the subway. Not that it matters, because this entrance won't be found until the movie is ready for its big final battle.
That hum. You hear it too?
We all do, and it will go on for an ungodly amount of time and will be more irritating than being in a theater and trying to decipher any of the dialogue in Tenet.
Well, whoever, or whatever, something's guiding us. Whatever they are, they breathe air.
Is that surprising? Why did Brent feel the need to say that? Was he concerned they might be following fish people? No one will be seated as Brent touches the ladder and then removes his hand from the ladder.
That sound could have bad. It's either a warning or some kind of directional device. It doesn't much matter. They know we're here.
He's assuming that because the noise stopped when he touched the ladder and started again when he let go. I would like to put forward that this is a terrible way to find out that you have visitors incoming, as it is literally the opposite of how a doorbell is supposed to work. Libraries. And yes, I know libraries are very important to a lot of people, but there's just so much reading going on there. My hands are tied. This is clearly a matte painting, but I'll give it a pass because it's the 70s. Wait, why are we still looking at it? You know, the longer you look at it, the worse it gets. This should have been a drive-by, but you decided to stay on it for almost 10 seconds. Now I have to sin it. This man is a fucking astronaut, people. What did he think was going to happen here? I wouldn't drink subway water if I found it today, let alone in the year 3955 and with this much visible pulp. I'm not sure that Nova is getting any hydration here, considering most of this stream of water is hitting her hair. Bombs that look like golden penises. This whole mind beeping instead of talking thing goes on for all of some time.
What do you mean there's no point?
And now Brent will keep answering them to give us an idea of what they are saying when they do the inner mind beeping. We will find out they can talk normally to Brent, so I'm not sure why they don't start doing that sooner, because just listening to Brent answering questions that we're not hearing asked is more annoying than it sounds.
Your lips don't move.
You're just figuring that out now? You've been facing Julio Fuentes from Sanford & Son this whole time. All of a sudden, there's a lot of Star Trek's The Cage in my Planet of the Apes movie, and I don't like it. Was camera focus just like not a thing in the 70s? Or have these humans evolved the ability to always be a little bit blurry? Scene contains a hall of heads, but no, they might be giants. If they communicate telepathically, was the head turn and nod really needed?
Well, from this planet, but from another time.
These humans have developed the ability to communicate telepathically, so do they really need this expositional projection thing? Perhaps they've also evolved to a point where they realize there's an audience of less evolved individuals watching them who need some helpful visual prompts. Why did this guy have to walk closer to Brent to use his mind powers? Brent was hit with one of their mind zaps when he was in the other room with Nova alone. Dude should have been able to do this from where he was initially standing up top.
She helped me to break out of Ape City.
This inspires the humans to go crazy with questions, but why is this so shocking? They have Taylor in prison and he spent months or maybe even a year in Ape City. What could Brent have possibly found out in a day that they didn't already get out of Taylor?
Like the visual deterrent or the sonic deterrent.
You say deterrent, but I don't think you're using that word correctly. Working deterrents don't usually lead people straight f***ing to you. Nova runs into the arms of Brent for safety, who just tried to strangle and drown her less than 10 minutes ago.
We never harm anyone, Mr. Brent. You're going to harm her.
Who are these people? Are they related to John Kramer?
The apes are semi-articulate.
You're lying.
How do you know?
They can speak to you with their minds, Brent. Why are you shocked at anything when it comes to them?
Bugler, sound the advance.
Giving your enemy knowledge that you are about to attack and the direction you are attacking from.
Bid your soldiers to shoot our poor people.
I can't order them to do what the lawgiver has forbidden. Ape shall not kill ape.
Well, and what was your plan earlier with the protesters? You were happily drawing your gun on them until Zaius says,
We don't want martyrs.
I'm pretty sure one has to die before they're martyred, so where was your lawmaker then,
This is a vision, and it is a lie.
Just because Zaius ends up being correct doesn't make the fact that he figured out all this subterfuge with no proof any less bullshit.
Stupid animals. They don't have the brain to hold our illusions.
Yes, they did! Right up until the point you jumped the shark with that statue. I get the imaginary fire, I get the imaginary gorillas tied up and burning, but did you not think a bleeding statue of their most holy figure was going to raise some follow-up questions? Like, what's it doing all the way out here in the Forbidden Zone? Or who built it and why is it bleeding?
We have no defense.
Except our bomb.
Yes, you do! Do your telepathic torture powers suddenly stop working at close range? They seem to work fine on Brent. Why are they giving up so easily? Sure, prepare the bomb as a backup, but try some of these loud noises or a valley of lava or something at the same time. I am now very confused about how these guns work, considering there doesn't appear to be a hole for the bullet to come out of. Hey, they've got the Superman Fortress of Solitude crystal thingy too! I have to give props to the movie for the, no doubt, intentional symbolism of making this crucifix-inspired holy symbol look like a bomb. It aptly presents the complex layers that represent humanity's search for a higher power, contrasted to our ability to create a power great enough to destroy ourselves. But also, it totally looks like a
I reveal my inmost self unto my God.
Movie experiences some time slippage and steals the impossible face mask technology from the Mission Impossible franchise. Also, this would be a much cooler reveal if it made any damn sense. This is a lot of effort to look normal, considering that normal hasn't been normal for hundreds, if not thousands of years. Are the kids wearing masks? Why go to all this trouble if you're all mutated? Also, now I can't stop thinking about how much they look like Toby from the movie Popcorn. Guys, I no longer know what's going on.
When may we hope to be set free?
You may hope whenever you please, Mr. Brent.
Casper would be excellent at CinemaSins. This jailhouse fight scene goes on for 1 minute and 32 seconds and feels like it goes on for 30 minutes and 32 seconds. Here we see Brent scream as he is thrown into the spiky bars, and we even see the damage this did as his blood is smeared against the wall in a minute. However, in this shot, there is no blood and seemingly no injury from the bars. I doubt the legacy of 70s cinema will ever recover from this humiliating continuity error. This wall of a prison broke after Brent was thrown into it a few times, which makes this not a very good prison at all, and something I figured Taylor wouldn't have had a problem escaping from had Heston wanted to be a real part of the sequel. This dumbass stands here with the door wide open, leaving all of his resting laurels exposed. Well, now I have all the questions. Are we saying that the humans at this time aren't really mute? How is she suddenly talking? How does emotional trauma result in the sudden development of vocal cords? And yes, you can argue that the humans being mute was purely psychological from centuries of enslavement to the apes, but the movie never tells us this or gives us any real explanation for how the humans de-evolved, which means sin.
If they shoot it off at some of those apes, it could set off a chain reaction in the whole atmosphere.
Why would these two astronauts know so much about what is presumably a top-secret world-ending atomic bomb? Like, they literally just painted a bus into this scene and expected us to buy it. Why are we still looking at it? Like, how expensive would it have been to find a beat-up bus and park it on the stage? How could they possibly know when that ape moved away from the bars? It's the 3950s and women are still being treated like trauma dolls. Poor Nova has existed solely to be passed between males, all so that she can be randomly shot moments after finally finding her voice. This guy used his dying seconds to present his true image to God before he died, so why didn't Albina do the same ahead of killing herself?
This is the instrument of my God.
He can speak.
Wait, are we saying up until this point, not a single human has said a word to any of the invading apes? Because this reaction sure makes it seem like not a single solitary person screamed, "Ah, there's a f***ing gorilla with a machine gun, please, bomb lord, save me!"
That weapon is built by man. You can't shoot it down with only a clip of bullets.
What the heck are you basing that on? A moment ago, you were shocked that man could even speak. Why are you now making assertions about the strength of their manufacturing capabilities?
It'll kill us all.
Again, how do you know that? These people barely have guns, so how is Dr. Zaius recognizing this as a weapon of mass destruction as opposed to some giant phallus-like statue?
I should someone at the pillar.
Well, I'm impressed that the movie goes for a big swing by killing off Taylor. I'm less impressed that said swing lands him into this dramatic roly-poly that will eventually place him within groping distance of the red dildo of destruction. Holy shit, they just shot Brent in the face! We spent the whole movie getting invested in him, and then the movie just ends his arc like a bad dream. Well, the joke's on you, movie, because I was never invested.
Bloody bastard.
Oh man, did he just set off the nuke? That's fucking wild. I guess that's it for these apes. I assume future movies will be set on other parts of the planet.
A green and insignificant planet is now dead.
Well, goddamn. They nuked the entire planet and just ended the fucking movie. Like, that's it. No more Earth. No more Taylor. No more bus painting in the subway. Story time over, kids. Roll those credits. The sin here is that this might be a more bonkers ending than the famous Statue of Liberty reveal, but because the rest of the movie is so blah, we just never fucking talk about it.
No moves are forbidden except the forbidden move.
This is SETI Alpha 5. I'm not dead. Members of the Citizens Council.
I'm just a caveman. I fell in some ice and later got thawed out by some of your scientists. Your world frightens and confuses me.
What's a bloomin' bus?
Good soup.
Batman, he should be biting at the bait about now.
Bugler, sound the advance.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Would you mind not shooting at the thermonuclear weapons?